Good afternoon, fellow Ambazonians. Good afternoon to you this Tuesday, December the 19th, 2023. Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of The War Zone on ABS TV. We have a few things, very interesting things, very juicy package to bring to you today, and I hope that you are ready to absorb everything that we have ready for you. I have an interesting partner with me. I have Senior Comrade Agbo Derek, who will be joining me. I have Dr. Epa, who will be joining me. He was not featured on the flyer, but Dr. Epa is joining me. And Honorable Sama Thomas, of course, will be joining me as well. So I'm glad to have you here with me today. And we are ready to do this, but we are starting a little bit late, but we will try to make it worth your time. Fellow Ambazonians, there's been a lot happening in our struggle for the restoration of our independence and dignity. And I would like for you to know just some of the things that I've prepared for you. Of course, we have seen statements that have been made by some French officials or former French officials lamenting the fact that Africa is beginning to extricate itself from the fangs of France that has held Africa hostage for so long, and they are beginning to cry, and we are crying when we are not even done yet. And also, we are going to honor one of the most successful, the most accomplished fighting force that we have had on the ground that has wreaked havoc on the scout soldiers of La Republic of Cameroon. I'm here referring to none other than the Bui Unity Warriors, and we cannot but thank them for what they have done and continue to do, and to examine how exactly is this force established. How come they are so successful where others have failed to meet the same standards or level of accomplishment? We are going to honor the Bui Unity Warriors for what they have done and continue to do in this quest for the liberation of the Southern Cameroons and Tanzania. We also will take a look at the statements by, or the video that has been going around by one UK House of Lords member, Viscount Waverley, who made some really interesting statements about the conflict between us and La République du Cameroon. And of course, the statements were very encouraging, though they fell short of recognizing our right to make our own decisions as to how this conflict ought to end. But all in all, I think the statements were very encouraging, but they were not encouraging enough as to where we really want to be. Also, we are going to take a look at our diplomatic mission, which was inaugurated about 2 weeks ago. We are open for business. We are open for business, and we will make the announcement as to how all other Ambazonians, as we said, this diplomatic mission is for all Ambazonians. It's not for the interim government. It's not for any one person. And how we will spell out exactly how you can take advantage of this center, of this space that we have been able to secure, and to use it for the prosecution of this war between the Southern Cameroons and La République du Cameroon. Without any more waste of time, I would like to bring in my panel so we can start right away. Dr. Epa, I don't know if he's signed in. Dr. Epa, are you there? Dr. Epa? Dr. Epa, I believe you had the link. I'm sure you should be signing. If not, Comrade Derek, are you there? Comrade Derek? Comrade Derek, is he there? I believe he is there. He was signed in some moments ago. Comrade Derek, can I see you? What about Honorable Sama Thomas?
Yeah, Comrade Mike, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you 5 on 5. That's great. That's great. I
Oh, good.
think Comrade Derek received the link some moments ago, and I believe he was already signed on. Um, Maybe he will join us momentarily. But Sama Thomas, let us start with something here that I got from an announcement, first of all, coming from the Unity Warriors, of whom we are going to talk momentarily. Why don't we listen to this audio coming from the Unity Warriors? And this audio is in regard to the use of the Bamenda, I think, Bui and Donga Mantung high route. I don't want to call it a highway because it's really not a highway. But let's hear what the Unity Warriors have to say here. Yeah, spokesperson. Okay, I see Comrade Derek is on. That's great. Let's just listen to this audio for a moment.
It's using the Bamenda Ndop Nkambe Highway as from Tuesday, the 19th of December 2023, between the hours of 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. We, the Unity Warriors, they advise all civilians not for the worker between this time along this route, Bamenda and Kambe Highway. The Republic terrorists, they use as civilians for cover themselves them, they enter our territory between this time them. Make una take this information in good faith, not for be victim. Make una plan una work at them before time to avoid being used by the La Republic terrorists to enter our territory. We the fight at them, they do work well when the civilians understand we well. We thank una for understanding. Signed by the Bui Unity Warriors, presented by una communication secretary of the Bui Unity Warriors.
Okay, so that is the message. That is a message, Senior Comrade Derek and Osama Thomas, coming from the Unity Warriors. And what they are simply saying here is that La République du Cameroon criminal soldiers have had this habit of hiding behind passenger vehicles. They will send the passenger vehicles ahead, then hide behind. And when these passenger vehicles go ahead, and maybe the warriors come out to verify who they are, they will come from behind now and attack them. And they are saying, henceforth, these vehicles should not ply those roads from dawn to dusk. That's simply what he's saying. From dawn to dusk, they should not allow themselves to be used by these criminal soldiers during this period. So I think the message be very clear. No? I know things say I get for explain anything much. What you get for talk for that one, Mr. Matama, I think the message be clear in itself.
The message be very, very clear, but I guess I'll add something there. If the people on the ground that watch me, particularly the fighters on the ground, during war, people know to move as if nothing not happen. Which I mean for you. The fighters on the ground from the stretch of road from Bamenda to Ndop, from Ndop to Bui, from Bui to Nkambe must come to terms with one thing. Make motor come for Bamenda, a load passengers, a pass. If at all, if you go further, I know maybe I'm not talking to go further. Make motor not leave Bamenda pass Ndop. Go for so. If the motor leave Bamenda, for be on the surf side, if you reach from Ndop, they must transfer that passenger of that motor for another motorway. It be identified. The reason be say when I want to fight along the stretch of road, we will not know exactly which motor they apply that road. So as to identify the motorway, it come from afar. So passengers must be moving from one step to another. That one will also give room for control who it did inside bush motor and for being chosen and who and waiting it did inside bush motor from which place to which place. So make motor not go for Bamenda, it cross Ndop. If motor reach Ndop, transfer those passengers to another motor. It come out from Ndop, from so you transfer them from so to Mkambe. The last lap you keep on for the transfer and so as you know the driver will reply that road, the motor will reply that road. So that if the public enemy in the end of inside, you will know exactly what to do and say. Then, as a token, please, for we are civilian population, for be on the safe side, avoid that stretch of road as from 6 to 6:07 in the morning. So that make the Republic is not used to like a human shield. Because time will do it. If this boy don't get them for year with both of Wuna, they don't get another choice. Instead for leave the enemy me go through with Wuna, we better destroy Wuna all with the enemy.
Yes.
Are you?
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, I think that message don't be clear. That message don't be clear. Comrade Go Derek, I thank you again for joining the show. One thing where I would like me we talk about now the Buu Unity Warriors by themselves, the Buu Unity Warriors. We don't see the performance of the Buu Unity Warriors. They don't deliver. They be disciplined. They be committed. They be consistent. I don't know. I think if we give the credit to FM No Pity, where we put together these force, and we be see time we be put together this force. Some people will come out, they vilify it, they say, oh, they form that thing and forgo for La Republic. But since the demise of FMA, these unity warriors, they don't be the most consistent. They don't wreak havoc on the child soldiers of La Republic of Cameroon. Time and time and time again. They need to relent. They need to give up. They be disciplined. You hardly hear, say, Unity warrior soldiers don't go molest some civilian. You don't, they kind of the way to hear from other areas. You know, to hear from the Unity warriors. The only thing we hear from them are results. Results. The number of armored cars, where the skeletons of armored cars, where litter buoy because of this force. We know if you count them. They're not there like some people where they call them supreme commander or what, supreme general. But you only hear now how where they molest now civilians. You hear where they go arrest other soldiers, molest them, seize their material. You know the city where they do. The unity warriors, they don't consistently deliver. So I want to ask you, Senior Comrade Derek, I don't know if you know the morale or the ethics of the unity warriors. These people, I think every ambassador where you get the means for support this force, you get for support them. And I think the interim government don't always reach out for support them, but we need to do more because they don't stand. I don't know how the discipline where they amongst these guys. They be patriotic, real patriots. One thing we could realize say it don't destroy a lot of other fighting forces. Now the temptation for money. You realize say when a force it don't start to chase the money instead of chasing the freedom of Ambazonia, that it is soon be destroyed, and they lost fighters, and before you know them, they need to be productive anymore. But the unity warriors have stood their grounds. They have delivered time and time and time again, day after day, week after week, month after month. They are relentless. That is a force to be proud of. And we cannot commend them enough. What do you have to say to this, Senior Comrade Godari? Senior Comrade, are you there? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Check your audio.
You're
Not
muted.
now, not yet, not yet. Try again. Try again. Um, if you are not coming through, senior comrade, you may have to log off and log back on so that probably whatever is hindering your audio will be cleared. Just log off and log back on. Let me give the chance to Osama Thomas. I mean, what do you have to say about the consistency of the Unity Warriors?
Uh, First of all, make me I go thank the efforts of uh, Commander No Pity, where and your boy ever she done the think I'm wise for constitute that force. You know, we say unity is strength. Other groups they don't die out, they fade out because if we are there for one group, one 20, one 30, we not get strength. We not get the power where we fit face like public. But no pity, it come up with a mechanism, we defend them for where a group of people, a group of forces together, at least 100, where if they come for they come for attack La Republic soldiers, if they live within the 50, you will run around. Because first of all, they be well armed, they be coordinated, then they get commands from these little pockets of units of here and there, where you go there for you go there when a 10, when a 5, you call yourself a general, where you make that statement that we can find fish out every day, it kill you, kill your boys, by the end of the day, the whole of that area it remain empty. I hope say other countries they will emulate which way the unity warriors don't do or no pity. They also come together for see how they will unite their effort for face the enemy. Because if we get 100 AK 47 for one unit and RPGs, it will do more work than for 10 people for get 10 AK 47. The people that go on for put popcorn them along the stretch of the road, like I said this time around, they line up about 4 popcorn them last week for that stretch of road for Bui. That is what the population or a group that has many fighters are capable of doing. But 10 people will not do that formidable job. So I want to dove my cap for all those guys of Bui for the past 2 years that they don't sustain this. If our police talk say war of the Southern Cameroons, now the unity warriors, they don't stand their ground or tell our public say they will not have a foothold in the Southern Cameroons. Like Soweto, when I been for primary school, I been always about the Black Township of Soweto. I never know about Johannesburg. So I think it is served this present moment like the Black Township of Soweto. But we don't leave the job for Bui alone, somebody do the job. Other sister forces for Mezam, for Momo, make them come together so as to help Bui for divert La Republic the attention, weaken them, for get rid of them out of Southern Cameroons.
Exactly. And stemming from that point where you don't make them. Now for there will be one come say, Dr. Epa, I'm glad for see you where you don't join me. The question I say,
Thank you.
given which way we don't see the unity warriors, they don't do them consistently over and over and over and over, decimating several of La Republique de Cameroon's armor cars. So the question where it we get for ask him here now, that say, Dr. Epa, where the other groups they feel learn from the Bui warriors? Where the magic where it work for the unity warriors, where others never learn, where they feel learn from them. And at the talk, so I know say one very important thing for any successful military, now discipline. Now discipline, you go see and say most of the groups where they don't meet their early demise, now indiscipline to bring them down. Indiscipline and longer for money. that the two things in this way, it bring down so many of our fighting forces. If you see with the Unity warriors, where they be, first of all, we get for take note, say the Unity warriors, every time we do a draft, they did ever draft the least, but they did get the best results. So now, how did the manager? How did the manager? Discipline, focus, training, planning, and following way to where the leader in the talk. So that you know, get rogue people that just come out, someone just come out, go stand for road where they never see me go stand for road. You want to see they can't shoot and kill them. Dr. Eppa, I will leave them for you. Me explain where to where other fighting groups if you learn from the Unity Warriors.
Comrade Mike, can you hear me?
I can hear you 5 on 5. Go ahead.
Okay, good. I want to greet the warriors and all the Amazonian fighters and all our people on Ground Zero. Going back to your question, you have already explained many of the qualities that they have, and I will just add a few more on it. Other fighters in other counties and LGAs need to copy what the warriors are doing by being organized, working together, accepting their responsibility, and making sure that they are only there to serve Amazonians and not themselves. Many other fighters in other regions and communities or LGAs and counties like so much money. That's why they are being killed. They like a lot of money. Some are building houses, as we are talking about. But we warriors are in the bush. They are disciplined. They are being supported by their people. Chairman Mike, one other thing is that other counties, fighters or Amazonian fighters are not opportune to have is that there are people, especially the enabler, many of the people are enablers. The chiefs, those working in Yaoundé, Douala, in La Republic in general, have bought some of them and they have asked them not to fight. We have even enablers here in diaspora who tell the boys, the fighters, say, when they give you money, collect, but don't fight. And the boys listen. They do not know, these boys do not know that they are fighting for themselves for survival, for their families, and lastly for the whole Amazonia. There is nothing that La Republic will give you and that they will not take it back. They need to understand that we warriors are not taking money from La Republic. Therefore, they should not be taking money from La Republic to Cameroon or from their enablers. They should also understand that their chiefs who are confusing them not to fight, they should not hear from them. Because those chiefs do not have any good in Australia right now. And therefore, they should know that those chiefs not easily come and stay in Amazonia, even when we have independence.
Dr. Pa, you are very right. And what we have to say here is that, and that's the one mistake that some of these enablers based out here in the diaspora will confuse these boys. And most of the time, like those who are now in the so-called DDR center, there are many of them who are now lamenting. They are deceived to go and hand themselves in, and then they are put in prison called a DDR center. They have no freedom to go out, and many of them have. Some of them have managed to escape, but most of them are still behind bars, called the DDR center. and they give the false impression that they are fighting for somebody in the diaspora. We have said, uh, look, someone like myself, there's no day I will go to even ambassador to go and look for a job to do what with. I don't need that. I'm fine where I am. I, I don't need anything from there. The only reason is the pride of knowing that your homeland is free because of the friends and families you back there. Just knowing that your own people are free. That's all we want. It's not because we're going to look for a job there to do what with. We don't need it. So these boys should know that they're fighting for themselves. They're fighting for their fathers, their mothers, their sisters, and their siblings. So it's not about those of us in the diaspora. If it were about those of us in the diaspora, we could care less. We could just give up and not worry about it. But when you look at the situation back home, the roads, the hospitals, just a standard of living is abysmal. Electric poles falling and killing people, no water to drink. It's just, it's just like Armageddon. Looking at the pictures coming out of La Republic right now, it's like Armageddon. And you cannot be someone who has a conscience and you see that and you sit and do nothing. So I'm glad Senior Commander Derek has joined us, and as we are talking about what others can learn from this. I still want to come back to the fact that the one thing that has helped these Unity warriors is discipline and their ability to resolve their conflicts amicably. You have seen other groups. One commander will come out and threaten the other one. This one will come out and threaten the other. You never hear that from the Unity warriors. Their conflict management is excellent. They know how to resolve their problems without allowing things to escalate to a point where a soldier would now see the need to go out and take out the brother, which is just self-defeating. Senior comrade, your comment on this topic before we transition.
Yeah, thank you. Do you hear me now?
I can hear you
Hello?
clear. Yep.
Okay, then that's good. Well, thank you, Comrade Mike, for this opportunity, at least to be part of your show. And I believe that together we are going to come out with something good for the Amazonian people. You see, the Bull warrior always, Bull Unity warriors, I always admire them. And I believe you have described and the qualities that make this particular unit special. I would just want to add that, I just want to add the quality of leadership. The Unity warrior leadership is excellent. And when you have good leaders, good leadership in any military or even political or any organization, you are always at the right path. And we have seen how the leadership of this particular unit has managed, all what you have described, and especially even the conflict, which we see that even the political leadership have not been able to do.
They have a lot to learn from the Unity warriors. Yes.
Exactly. So I believe that other people have to emulate, or that's to learn from them, and not only learning but practicing, putting it in practice, because the group, in fact, is one of the best in Ambazonia. So I will call on Ambazonia, plead on them to help these groups, sponsor them, give them what they need. They should not wait for them to come and ask them taxes. No, go there, help them yourself, do the little you can. If you don't have money to give them food, give them water, shelter them, and then protect them from the enemy. Because we just heard other panelists talk here about blacklegs and who are actually there to show where the hiding places of our fighters. I will beg the Amazonian population to stop doing that. Please help our fighters and let the bull warriors keep on. Let it keep on so that once Amazonia comes to existence, which in the near future I'm very sure is not long from now, the bull warrior will be an example on how we can now start building our national military.
Army.
So
Yes.
Our national military. So I will thank them. I will thank their leadership, and I will thank the unity warriors to keep on and to keep on defending the territory.
Thank you, Sir Comrade. I would like the last statement I would like to make here is we just want to extend our gratitude and appreciation to the Bull Unity warriors from their leadership down to their generals and the ordinary foot soldiers and the Bui population for standing with them and protecting them. This is how the communities are supposed to work with the restoration fighters for the sake of Amazonia, because and I feel very sorry for those who have chosen to be blacklegs, because blacklegs to me are some of the most miserable souls crawling around our territory. Blacklegs, those are some of the most miserable people to find in any community, because you think you are selling someone else, but you are selling yourself. Look at French Cameroon today. Look at French Cameroon. What is there to admire? You are selling your own brother in exchange of what? What are you trying to get in return by selling your brother? These are some of the most miserable people that we have in our communities, these so-called blacklegs. They are like roaches, like lice. And I really encourage them, if you had ever thought about being a blackleg or you are a blackleg, it is better for you to repent and do the right thing. I think I'll have to end there. And to those other fighting groups on Ground Zero, please take a page from the Bull Unity warriors. You don't see them going out there and harassing the civilians. That is why the civilians protect them. And that is why you hardly hear that a Bull Unity warrior fighter has been killed. You hardly hear that. But every day you see them punishing Larapupi to come around, child soldiers who go there. They exert punishment on them. But you hardly hear that a Unity warrior soldier has been killed. Why? Because they have a good relationship with the population. And that is how they stay safe. You cannot molest your own people and then expect them to protect you. It does not happen. It doesn't happen. Protect the civilians so they will protect you. That is how it goes. So with that said, again, our appreciation and thanks to the Bull Unity warriors will continue to do whatever it takes to provide you the resources that you need to continue producing those good results. Thank you again. Yes, Senior Comrade, we talked during the week about this statement that was made by a French former economy minister, and I'll try to translate it as best as I can. And this is what he said. He said, it is because of this imbecile called Emmanuel Macron who has opened the eyes of the Africans. If France should lose its colonies, rest assured of one thing, that our children and their own descendants will go to Africa in search of a good living, or in search of a good living. That the immigration will change directions, and Europe ought to fight this, ought to come together to fight this new vision of Africa. And then he's saying that if one of the chief what falls, then the others will abandon. So he's simply saying that all of these brave African countries like Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, who have emerged as leading this Pan-Africanist movement. This guy is simply recommending is that they should be taken down. That if one of them should fall, then the others would be more careful to proceed with what they are doing. And he goes further to insult Africans by saying that Africa does not have a history of leading themselves, that Africa cannot lead the world. So what this guy is simply saying is that Europe should declare war on Africa because they have seen the African continent, the reawakening of Africa to the reality that they have lived since the so-called independence, where they've simply been exploited over and over and put in place a fake kind of democracy that really the rules are never respected. But they have seen Africans really coming together and saying, we've had enough of this. And this guy is recommending that war should be declared on Africa. So I'll give you the pride of place, Sino Comrie. You read this thing, and I'm sure you have a little bit of explaining to do. What is going on here, and what should Africa do?
You see, the French are losing their grips in Africa. And because of that, they are crying. They are finding all means possible to reinstate what they are losing. We should understand that at the Berlin conference, the French championed the partition of Africa. And once they got there, what the French came up with was a program known as the anti-sovereignty ideology. The anti-sovereignty ideology was designed to make Africans, especially the French African territories, after the First World War and the Second World War, to make them reject their sovereignty. That was the aim of the anti-sovereignty doctrine, which means all what they were to do was to make sure that they don't see their sovereignty as something they can manage by themselves. They only see their sovereignty as something that other people can help them manage. That was the aim of the anti-sovereignty doctrine. And when the United Nations now decided that colonies and trust territories will be granted independence, what the French did was to go in quickly into the trust territories they were controlling and the colonies that were directly under them. They went there and told them that, look, it is we who are going to grant you independence. So if you want this independence, you have to give us your sovereignty. When you give us your sovereignty, then we will grant you this independence. Now, what we should know here is that there is a difference. The independence and sovereignty are two words that seem to be synonyms, but at one point they separate. You can be independent, you can be an independent country, but certain conditions can make you lose your sovereignty.
And to make it, I think to simplify it to our listeners, I think it is like giving somebody a book, right? You have the book and it has a cover and everything, but all the pages of that book had been torn out. That is simply what the French gave Africa. An empty shell. There was nothing there. There was no there because you cannot be independent and you don't control your currency. You cannot be independent and you cannot print your own money. You cannot be independent and you cannot draw up your own education curriculum. You cannot be independent and you are depending on someone else to tell you who your leader ought to be. This is what the French gave to Africa, and they want Africa to remain that way. I think that's simply what the French gave us.
Yeah, so it was totally anti. Everything they brought was you just rejecting your sovereignty. And that is why they became shocked when countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, etc., stood up now and said, oh no, we are an independent country, but there's something lacking. Where is our sovereignty? What have we done with our sovereignty? We want to take that sovereignty back so that we can now govern ourselves. We can govern ourselves, they said. And the French now seeing that these people are serious to take what actually belongs to them, and which is something that is helping the French to build the French society. They have now resolved that, hey, my brothers, they are going now to their European brothers to tell them that, look, be careful. If you allow us to fall, know that it will also affect you. If you allow the French the French society to fall, know that the immigrants situation.
Let me give the chance to Dr. Epa to weigh in, Comrade Derek, because despite the fact that France is doing it, we have heard the Italian Prime Minister lambast Macron for this same nonsense, because I think France has an uphill battle, because not every European country is in favor of this nonsense, because especially with regards to the immigration issue, which is affecting all of Europe, but which is mostly caused by France, because most of those countries seeking to travel to Europe are from French colonies. I call them French colonies because they have never been independent. They are still very much French colonies. So they are coming from French colonies because of the very aggressive exploitation of those countries by France. So, Dr. Epa, what do you have to say to this? Does France have any means of fighting themselves back from what is now very predictable, that the African continent, except people like La Republique du Cameroon, which will be some of the last to wake up, but at least the others are breaking away. Dr. Epa, what do you have to say?
I think Comrade Derek has spoken very well. In addition to what he has spoken, France decided to bring his policy of assimilation, brainwashing the Africans to believing that they are Frenchmen or French people living in a foreign land, which is Africa. And many people bought into it. Many of those countries bought into it. The country that actually was more assimilated was Senegal, where they formed their 4 communes. And when you see La République doing what they are doing, it is that same situation of assimilation where they have been brainwashed. Someone will live here when they're going to France. When he comes back or she comes back, and say, "I will go home." So their home is France.
It's in France.
And yeah, I was talking with some certain lady and the husband in Douala when I was still in that country. And then he said, "Oh, I will go home." I said, "Where?" He said, "I will go France." Paris is their home. I said, "So Douala is not their home?" They could not answer that question. That is the brainwashing. But Africans who were colonized by the French now have known that they were being brainwashed, and they are rising to fall no more. France has no way.
Yeah.
They can plan that they can kill anybody. They cannot, because with what Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger has done, even the African Union is paralyzed.
Yes.
They know that they are.
Yes.
They know that they are.
No.
Even the ECOWAS And the ECOWAS thought that they will go and fight. Let them go and fight, and then we see how those three countries are going to smash them. Let them go. Let them try. Those days where they killed Gaddafi is gone. It cannot happen any longer in Africa. France is finished. If they like them, if they are very serious, let them come and apologize. Let them come and say, look, give full independence to these countries and say, please, I beg for you to let us negotiate the contracts that we have had so that they can even be getting some money. What have they lost in Niger now, Niger? Look at the uranium that they were just getting for free. For free.
Yep,
Now,
yep. Dr. Epa, looking at this situation, I'm really so delighted because when you look at Niger, we look at Mali, Burkina Faso. I like the way these guys have played France because France was counting on the fact that they will go one by one, like we normally would do, so they can pluck them out and eliminate the leaders. But what did they do? They decided to band together. They say, you touch one, you touch all of us. You see, it became now difficult. Even ECOWAS, if not for the fact that these guys decided to come together, ECOWAS would have attacked them individually and subdued them. But they decided to say, you know what? We ought to come together. And they came together, and they have now been a thorn in France's throat. France cannot swallow them. ECOWAS cannot swallow them. Those who want to continue to dominate Africa cannot swallow them. I just wish Ambazonia were closer to those guys who easily join them and expand. But not to be, I think we'll work something out. But this is what I think Africans should learn something from this. When we come together, we become a force to reckon with, and nobody can touch us. Look at what Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are doing. They have signed a cooperation agreement. That is their own alliance they have created. And anyone who wants to go and attack them has to think twice. But we cannot also fail to thank those who helped to open this genie bottle because the one thing that any oppressed people need sometimes is information. Because there are times when you are oppressed and you don't even know you are oppressed. And that's why we are doing shows like this, to enlighten our people, to understand that the life they are living is not the kind of life they should be living. There is something better out there. But the only thing is you have to fight to get it. You have to fight to get it. We cannot fail but to thank a former ambassador, Arikana, who went on, she completely broke loose on France and started spilling out the secrets that had been used to cage Africa and keep it from advancing. And Professor Lumumba and others, even like we listened to the video of this guy in South Africa who was speaking earlier before the show. These are the voices that are now creating this awareness, this reverberation. The knowledge is coming up. People are just saying, okay, but is this really what we were suffering all this while? So France can try as much as it wants. There is no way it's going to put this genie back into the bottle. It is out and it is out, and Africa is on its way to freedom. Honorable Senator Thomas, I would like for you to weigh in on this before we move on.
France, Europe, and what they lump together and call it the West. Because for them, there is no more North, South, and East. It's only West. They should be very, very careful. For now is the time for them to come to their senses that Africa has risen to fall no more. Their deals, the way they've been dealing with Africa, they should rethink. For Africa can survive. Africa can survive without the rest of the world. They can eat their grass and survive without the rest of the world. But the rest of the world cannot survive without Africa. when the West will come to be the West, and African countries come together, they will shut their borders. They don't want anything to do with you. Don't come in. They don't come where you are. They stay where they are. You stay where you are. And let's see who will come back begging. That is what is awaiting this West. But now let us go to La Republic. When China wanted to get rid of the West, the very first thing they do was that they closed their eyes with the West and formed the the Southeast Asian community with a force standing there. If the West wants to infringe their affairs, they say, if you come with our population, without technology, without the population to stand against you, to fight you, you cannot fight you militarily, we will fight you economically.
So that let him not call me.
Africa and the Republic should be prepared to fight. We do not have the tanks, the jet fighters to fight the West, but we have the human resources to say we will not consume what you produce. We will handicap you economically. We will not give you our raw materials. Let them be beneath our feet. We are not feeding those things. They should be there. But Africa too should be aware of rogue states like La Republic. For these are the states that can easily be used, like Israel, to be causing havoc in the whole of Middle East. So La Republic too can be used to cause havoc when it comes to the unity of Africa. So Africa should be aware of this type of rogue states.
Yes, Honorable Thomas. We of course we have to keep an eye, because you see what France did when ECOWAS wanted to establish a currency, right? That's exactly what you're saying there. They use is it Ouattara or what the Ivory Coast? Yeah, they use him to destroy that currency that was supposed to replace the worthless CFA French Treasury note, which are using in terms of the currency. They use one of you to destroy what you are trying to construct. And so what you are saying is very much on point. Let us now talk about this other video which came out.
Let me just add something there.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just add something. You see, France should be aware by now. They should know that Africans have decided to take back their sovereignty into their hands. Whether it was in the hands of the British, the French, and whosoever, we have decided, we have risen to that consciousness. And now is the time we want to do that. So let the French stop blaming Macron. Let all those politicians, like this other man we just read his statement. Let him stop blaming Macron and instead go to look at the reasons behind this change of minds within the African community. What went wrong? What did the French do that has caused a lot of harm on Africans that we have now decided to turn our back on them? Let them go there and then try to amend it. Let them come in. We are not against the French. We are just against their policies that has kept us under bondage. If they can come now for genuine collaboration, genuine, if they can come with genuine program where we can work mutually, benefit mutually, where both society can grow, we will accept them. But if they just keep blaming Macron and say that he has opened our eyes and he has done this, which means they have not even examined the problem themselves, and that will lead to their total collapse in Africa.
That is the arrogance. That is the arrogance of the French, Comrade Eric. That is the arrogance of the French. Even at this point in time, they still have not gotten it yet. They have not gotten it yet. They believe that Africans are so stupid that even after learning all that they have learned about the injustices of the French, that they will somehow go back to being just the children they have always been and allow themselves to be exploited. They don't believe that Africans really that what they are seeing is real. That's what this guy is saying. He does not believe that we are really genuine in what we are asking for, and saying Europe should come in so they can come together and continue to cage us. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. Not now. Not ever. So they should learn from it. And you are saying the French should change their attitude. To me, I know that a snake is always a snake. That's just me. I don't think they will ever change. It is who they are. They feel that the only way they can deal with you is to cheat you. Don't you see they are like Paul Biya said he was the best student of Mitterrand or whoever. They have learned so well, and they are crooked. They never keep the terms of any agreement you have with them. You sign an agreement with them, the moment you turn your back, they change it.
Yeah.
They don't. Their word means nothing. Their word means nothing. So you cannot trust
Exactly.
these people.
Just as you, yeah, just as you are saying, comrade. You see, yeah, the French believe they believe that they know diplomacy, because that's what they are saying, that they are best in diplomacy.
But
When
their
I look at
diplomacy, their
policy, I look the
diplomacy
way
is deception. They know deception, not diplomacy. Yes, that's what the French know. They know
exactly, that's
deception.
where I was coming to. You see,
Yeah.
when the Frenchman steals from you, he calls it diplomacy. When he dupes you, he calls it diplomacy. When he can maneuver and take something from you, he calls it diplomacy. And that is what they taught their colonies. You know, they taught them that behavior. And when you see our stay with La République du Cameroon, all it was just everything is deceitful, dubious actions, everything with La
Yes.
République du Cameroon, because that is something they have inherited from their own colonial master, which is France.
And you cannot easily unlearn what is in your. It has become part of your intrinsic nature. That is, you do it without even realizing you are doing it. It's just part of you to be crooked, deceptive, manipulative. That is just their being. It's their way of life. It becomes very difficult to unlearn it, and that is why if we have to advance as a civilized society, the only way we do it is to leave them alone. That is the only way. As long as you want to deal with those people, you cannot change them. You cannot change them. That is who they are. So, as I was saying,
Just add something.
yeah, as I was saying, for the sake of time, let's move on to this other video which was played during the week of this UK a member of the House of Commons. I think his name is Viscount Waverley. I don't know if the studio has that video, even if it means playing it briefly, so that we get the video in full context, and then we can discuss it. And because there were some recommendations.
So sad that these wounds have resurfaced. But I fear it was always going to be thus, with the exclusion of the English-speaking minority in the affairs of state. The only practical solution, from distance, is a political settlement with either a United Nations or African Union peacekeeping contingent being placed on the ground to enable an immediate cessation of violence, ensuring a humanitarian protective intervention, and a cooling off period to create the conditions to allow an equitable settlement to be hammered out. Building on lessons learnt, autonomy but not separation in a close-knit federation is the formula for lasting peace and should be embraced as a solution. I have not tracked the papers that explained why this was not contained in the 1961 plebiscite when divesting from southern Cameroon. The Minister could usefully shed light into the thinking of the day and as to why not. Is the government satisfied that sufficient regard was paid to sensitivities, responsibilities and their consequences by our forebears? The Minister may wish to comment on the background of the 6th of November 2018 ruling in favour of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office regarding the legality of the original plebiscite. November the 6th this year, my lords. I do wonder if the right question was before the court. I will refer to the Cairo Declaration and the subsequent Constitutive Act of the African Union. What was always and still is envisaged as an acceptable solution to the English language-speaking people of Cameroon was a choice of a federation made up of two states with equal status. My lords, I'm not critical of London in isolation. The Quai d'Orsay possibly pressed what it considered to be an advantage by not containing this key option in restricting the alternatives to a choice between Nigeria or French Cameroon. Importantly, the 1964 Cairo Declaration on African Borders, reaffirmed in Article 4B of the Constitutive Act of the African Union, however, and signed off by the President of Cameroon, makes clear that demarcation of the territory of each African state is recognized as being such on the date of its independence. Does the United Kingdom government accept this to be the case? Or not? Has there been subsequent declarations that nullify these issues on borders? If not, it would follow that French Cameroon and Ambazonia are both able to assert territorial integrity. At no time before or after its independence from France was the southern Cameroons part of that country known by its French name and style as La République du Cameroon. A solution would be a close-knit federation made up of two entities and thus ensuring no parting of the ways. The question of the legitimacy of territorial integrity superseding that of self-determination would not be relevant in this instance. An international boundary separating French Cameroon from the southern Cameroons existed, affirmed in the Anglo-French Boundary Treaty of 1916 and confirmed in 1931. And if that be the case, would it not follow that the territory of the southern Cameroonians be recognized sitting alongside that of French Cameroon? An integral part of a peace formula lies with France, my lords. Given the David and Goliath nature of the situation in Cameroon, I asked the Minister on what occasions has the British Prime Minister or Foreign Secretary brought this up as a matter with the French President or the Quai d'Orsay. On the multilateral front, we should not forget that Cameroon is a Commonwealth member. Indeed, it was always envisaged by the Secretariat that the Commonwealth would take the wind out of the sail of secession. Membership was pressed for by Ambazonians against the will of Paris, with France unsurprisingly mightily resisting Cameroon's application to Commonwealth membership. When Baroness Scotland, the Commonwealth's SG, Secretary General, visited Yaoundé in December 2017, President Biya recalled all the measures taken by his government to appease the situation in the northwest and southwest region.
I think we have gotten most of the important points. I think we have heard most of the important points that I wanted us to listen to. First of all, I would like to commend this member of the House of Lords, UK House of Lords, for being bold enough to come out and make these statements. As despite the fact that I personally find out the statements, there are some declarations there with regards to the recommendation of how this conflict should end, which I believe, again, goes to the same problem that we have found ourselves in, where people sit thousands of miles away and prescribe what solutions are good for us, something that ought to be ours to make. Those choices ought to be ours. We should be able to decide what kind of relationship we want to have with La République du Cameroon. And we have said that the best thing to do is to give us a choice. Like he rightly said there, Senior Comrade, that the choices of the plebiscite, he challenged the legality of the plebiscite that was given to us, where we were only given two choices, either to join La République du Cameroon or Nigeria. So he challenged the legality. That shows that plebiscite was on a false premise. That is where the game was already played at our own disadvantage. So again, to go back to it, I think that if there is any solution that will be found to the conflict between the people of the Southern Cameroons and La Republic of Cameroon, that solution should come from the people of the Southern Cameroons. Let the people decide what relationship, if any at all, we ought to have with La Republic of Cameroon. And that should be done through the organization of a United Nations supervised referendum where the people will, for once, be given the choice to decide their own destiny. That is the only solution that will be long lasting. And as well as good as his statements may have been, they fall short of that threshold of allowing the people, those who are the victims, to make that decision. It should not be imposed on the people of the Southern Cameroons. It should come from the people. Nobody should sit again in Europe and decide the solutions for us. We will appreciate if they can facilitate and give us a chance to make that decision, but it should not be something that is pushed down our throats. But before I give you the panel some the chance to weigh in, let me just highlight some of the points that he made. Of course, he mentioned that they would prefer a federation, not outright separation, like he says. But the question again is, didn't we have a federal structure of government with La Republic already? Didn't we have that before? What happened to that? So why should we go back to something that we tried and it failed? What is going to guarantee that the same thing will not fail again? And again, it's not coming from the people. The second point I want us to understand is, he mentioned that there was this charter that was endorsed by the African Union, and the president of La Republique du Cameroon signed it, that they ought to respect their boundaries at time of independence, which therefore says that La Republique du Cameroon, as well as the Southern Cameroons, has the right to declare autonomy, but the terms of that charter. Now, one thing I also like is the fact that he clearly recognized Ambazonia by its real name, Ambazonia. I want to appreciate him for that, for recognizing Ambazonia as our name, because I have always said that if you have been a slave and you manage to free yourself, if you continue to bear the name that was given to you by your slave master, you are not indeed free. You are not very free. The first thing you have to do when you have freed yourself from slavery is to give up that slave name. Take upon yourself a name of a free person, so that you begin to cast that yoke of slavery off of you. So by us adopting and keeping our own name that was picked by us, Ambazonia, that is the right thing to do. So I thank him for recognizing that Ambazonians have indeed decided to take on a new name. Again, he mentioned that La République du Cameroon is a member of the Commonwealth. And I would like to ask you, and I'm putting this point so that you'll be able to react to this. What are the values of the Commonwealth? What criteria is a country supposed to satisfy in order to belong to the Commonwealth? Even as a member of the Commonwealth, how are member states supposed to conduct themselves? Is La République du Cameroon conducting itself in accordance with the moral values of the Commonwealth? That is a question that the UK has to answer, or the Commonwealth should answer. If the La République is not conducting itself in accordance with the values of the Commonwealth, then why is it still in there? Why has La République du Cameroon not been kicked out of the Commonwealth? These are some of the things that we would like for them to answer. So, and one other thing he mentioned was the fact that La République has simply gone back to its name before we ever came together. They have gone back to the name they had, La République du Cameroon, showing that they had long seceded from any union with us. So whatever we're doing now, we are simply trying to respect what the decision that La Republic had made since 1984 when Paul Biya decided to go back to that name. So again, I don't know, Dr. Pa, if we want to go first, then we'll follow like that. Dr. Pa, yes, you want to react to these points?
Yes, let me react very quickly. Thank you very much. I think I want to commend this gentleman,
the member of the House of Lords, yeah,
the member of the House of Lords in UK. I think he's one of those who has been able to speak out.
Yes.
And you have given very good points, which I think the world should look at it very critically. He falls short of saying that we should be given our independence, which were due in 1961, outright independence, and of joining La Republic or Nigeria. And he questioned that idea of joining, which is very good for us. And that is what is the reasons that La Republic does not want to come on the negotiation table. Now, regarding federation that he has mentioned, which is problematic to us, the British people should know that they caused this problem. And all our people who have been dying in Amazonia, the British should be held responsible. He is trying to at least stay out of that because the British do not want to bear the responsibility of the killings in Amazonia since 1961. On November, not November.
September.
On September 31st, a day before,
30th.
or the 30th. Yes, November 30th, before before our independence on October 1st, the British envoy came and handed the package to Ahijo, and before then, the queen who just died said has sent to France a package that they have all arranged, and then the president of France at that time said, "Oh, the queen has given us a small gift."
The goal. That was the goal.
That was the goal. A small gift. The gift that the queen who just died, the Queen of England or the Queen of the United Kingdom, gave us, sold us to France, gave us to France as a small gift. So he is trying to go through that boundary. He does not want to implicate himself in that. That's why he said, "Oh, federation." But he understands that federation was a sham. That is why I thank him so much, because he's speaking as a politician.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's go to this fact. Amazonia is going to get the independence, whether the British like it or not. Time is going to come when the British will find no way, even in Amazonia or La Republic. When the French will be taken away, when we take out France and La Republic, the British will come and back Amazonia.
at that time, we shall give them some conditions. And that is the fact. What we're saying here, God has accepted it because a lot of people have been killed because of this nonsense that the British did. I do not know whether they even go to church, that they are Anglican church. And the Queen would
don't worry too much about church. I don't worry about church, Dr. Pa. Let me give the pride of place to Comrade Derek to react to these statements. Let me give a pride of place to Comrade Derek to react to these things that we have outlined here with regards to remember. Thank you, Comrade Derek. Comrade Derek, can you hear me?
Okay. You see, yeah, I get you. Do you hear me as well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yep. I can hear you. 5 on 5. Yes, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. You see, I think the member of law, the British member of law, tried to compress the whole history of the termination of the trusteeship agreement, the manner in which it took place in the southern Cameroon, today known as Ambazonia. It's a complex history that has raised a lot of school of thoughts within the Ambazonian society, especially among academicians. Who see some claim that the trusteeship agreement was terminated. Some say no, it was not trusteeship agreement, it was the decolonization process, and that it was not terminated. You see, all this has a lot of implication on what this man is saying. Yeah. So he knows and understands the role the British played during that period. And that is why he's just trying to remind the British government that they have to come back into it, because they had a very important role to play, which they reluctantly allowed things to slide away. And and now Ambazonia is facing the consequences. Now let's start with let's start by looking at the plebiscite, as you mentioned. He said that the plebiscite, questioning the legality of that plebiscite. Was that plebiscite actually, was it necessary? The plebiscite was not necessary. And the simple question is why? Is because in 1959, 13th of March 1959, the UN Assembly was sitting, and there were 3 very important resolutions that took place. There was the resolution to grant La République du Cameroun independence. So actually, La République du Cameroun has its independence on the 13th of March 1959, when UN resolution 1949 was passed. That was during the morning session, granting La République du Cameroun independence. And when this independence was granted, a date was set aside for the termination of the trusteeship agreement between the UN and the French. That was set for 1st of January 1960. So actually, the Independence Day of La République du Cameroun is not 1st of January. It's actually the termination of the trusteeship agreement. And that day set aside as to combine both the termination and the already declared independence and celebrate it. And now when another resolution that went was UN resolution 1950, that granted independence to the northern Cameroons. And in the afternoon session, it came to the southern Cameroon. That is the same day we were supposed to have independence, even before Nigeria. That 13th of March. But what happened? You see, our leaders, the Frontier administration rejected that offer. This is what they're hiding from us. Most of our people don't want to tell us that. But if you go to the UN records, you'll find them. They're very easy to get them. They rejected, Funcha administration rejected that offer because of his pre-arrangement already with the UPCs, with the UPC and the Ayijo administration. So what happened was that the UN now came up with a resolution. When Funcha could not accept, they now consulted Ndele. Ndele too rejected it. Rejected it in the sense that he wanted now to join Nigeria. And then Foncha wanted to join La République du Cameroon. So the UN now saw it and said, no, if that is the case, if both of you cannot come out and form a coalition government, I am saying this because it's very important for us, what is going on in our present liberation struggle. They asked them to form a coalition government so that they can grant direct independence to the Southern Cameroon. These two fellows, because of their greed, they rejected it. And that afternoon, the UN came up with resolution 1952. It is that resolution that gave now the UN the power to conduct the plebiscite. So, was the plebiscite legal? It was not legal because that was not the aspiration of the people of Southern Cameroon. The people wanted direct independence as they have already expressed it from 1954. They were already a self-governing, a semi-autonomy country. They were the first in Africa to even conduct the first democratic election. So they were already running, having. So coming now to conduct that election is what now, it was now a means of seizing that that sovereignty away from them and giving it to another person. So that
Senior comrade, to support what you are saying, let me just read some of the statements some of the warnings that were given about that process by some pious men, some courageous, upright men of good standing, and very high levels of the international community at the time, who gave the warnings that what was being done to the southern
community,
that what was being done to the people of the Southern Cameroons was simply an annexation, that it was wrong. Several warnings were given. Let me just read someone. This was from Clement J. Zabloki, a U.S. former chairman of the House of Foreign Affairs. Former chairman of the House of Foreign Affairs. And this is what the Foreign Affairs Committee, this is what it says. Speaking at the UN General Assembly of 6th of October 6th of August 1959, this is what he said. The United States congratulates the people of the Southern Cameroons for their accession to auto-determination, as it constitutes the will of the population who want to run its affairs democratically. That is what he said. On the ordeal of unification, the results of a hurried choice imposed on the population of the Trust Territory would be catastrophic for their political future. This is what he said at the United Nations. Another statement from Kosciuszko Morisset of France, 1961. This is what he said. In the case of in the space of a few weeks, after reading a report submitted in the last minute, which most of its members had not had time to examine seriously, the Decolonization Committee pronounced in haste on the question concerning the future of a people. Remember, see, the haste is something that is in these two statements. We hope that today's vote will not entail dramatic consequences, though we fear that a disguised annexation is being perpetrated. Listen, fellow Ambazonians, a disguised annexation is being perpetrated under the level of the United Nations against the will of the peoples. We hope that all those who, in good faith, felt it in their duty to vote in favor of this resolution will not someday have cause to regret their somewhat hasty pronouncement. Warning number 2. Warning number 3, UK Member of Parliament, Dundee East. If anything goes wrong in the Southern Cameroons on or after the 1st of October, we pray it will not. The British government and the British people will get the blame for it. That's warning number 3. We are now within a few weeks of 1st October, and nothing effective has been done to ensure that this territory into which we have put much work will have a reasonable chance of going forward into a peaceful, prosperous future. Another one, Dag Hammarskjöld, UN Secretary General 1953 to 1961. Uniting the Southern Cameroons to the Cameroon Republic is like forcing a balloon under the sea. One day it will come out. Just what is happening today. What a precise prediction. What a precise prediction. There are others, but I would like for us to understand that what was being done to the people of the Southern Cameroons at the time, people warned against it. People saw what was happening. It was wrong, but there were some people who were bent on tying our hands and handing us over like cattle, like sheep in the market. So, Doctor, I think it's remaining Honorable Sama Thomas. I would like for you to
let me add something there. Let me just say something
okay,
there.
Okay,
see,
go ahead.
Finish because I had many things to say about all those 4 or 5 points you mentioned, but because of time, I don't. You see, let me say something here. Why were these people reacting? The question is, why were they reacting? What gave them what gave them that insight to start reacting? Is because when Foncha had rejected direct independence, in the UN was so disturbed until now they had to, the politicians, even in Southern Cameroon, were so disturbed until there was a meeting in Mamfe. I think that meeting was 15th of December, if I'm not mistaken, 15th of December 1959, where all the Southern Cameroonians, or say Ambazonians, came together to chat, to give a common stand. Because this is the same thing we are saying here in this liberation struggle, what is going on now. They came there to and came out with a common stand, and that stand was that they wanted direct independence. That was what they wanted. And now the question is, why did the UN listen to Foncha instead of listening to the
people? Are you sure that it was Foncha's will that prevailed, or was it the will of the UK and the international?
The will of the people in December 1959 was that they wanted direct independence.
Okay.
And my question is, what happened then? Why did they not follow the will of that people? Because after the Mamfe conference, that is what the people decided. You understand?
Okay.
What now?
Let me now proceed from there, Derek. Let me now proceed from there.
Okay, go on.
After the Mamfe conference, Foncha went back to the United Nations, telling them that the people of the Southern Cameroons have chosen to have independence without joining. So, to prepare the Southern Cameroons to have independence without joining, he is proposing that the British should stay the trusteeship mandate either for 2, 3, or 5 years, which the British refused and forced on the people of Southern Cameroons the one alternative. Foncha himself never wanted to join La Republique after the Mamfe conference. Foncha didn't want it. He asked the people to stay their administration of the Southern Cameroons for some time to prepare the Southern Cameroons for by
because at the time, given the fact that the Southern Cameroons was not ready at the time to really run itself the way it should have been done, probably that's why Foncha was asking for that time for the preparations towards autonomy, absolute autonomy.
The reason was that the British didn't train a force that will protect the Southern Cameroon's territorial integrity.
Yes.
That's why France
Yes.
that give us some time to prepare that force before you leave, which the British refused and proposed the one alternative. But before we come there, the United Nations or the international community has violated all the laws in the books so far as Southern Cameroon is concerned. Because in 1948, the United Nations passed a resolution warning the British that the Southern Cameroon must never be annexed into Nigeria or any other neighboring country. The Southern Cameroon is having only two neighbors, Nigeria and La Republic of Cameroon. That resolution was taken in 1948. Again, the United Nations violated Article 76B of the United Nations Charter that says once a territory attains self-government, you give that territory independence without reservation. There is no complaint here to say they are poor, they cannot sustain themselves, they are too rich, they should go and subsidize other people. No, without condition, give them independence. So any excuse given by any other person about the Southern Cameroons to join La Cameroon was wrong or Nigeria.
It was imposed. It was imposed on us. It was not by. It was imposed on us. That's the truth.
Let me go back to this guy in British Parliament who was making that statement. He was wrong. Why am I saying that? After diagnosing the trouble, the recommendation or the antidote was wrong.
Because it was wrong. Yes, it was
exactly.
wrong. Is to ascertain what is this patient suffering from. Once you ascertain the trouble of that patient, you now go in for medication. If you diagnose such a problem and you prescribe the wrong medication, you cannot solve that problem. The problem
not only that, Honorable Sama Thomas. Just to add to what you're saying, I'm not taking your time, but just to add to what you're saying, is not only that the wrong prescription is being prescribed, you are prescribing a medication which you gave to that patient before, and that patient started having convulsions. That patient started having convulsions when you gave it that prescription before, and now you are coming back to prescribe that same medication. It does not make any sense.
So go ahead with your thought. People having suffered as a result of international conspiracy for the past 60 and over 62 years will not want that conspiracy to continue telling us about a federation with La Republic of Cameroon. We do not want to federate with any other country again. We are a people and needs to be independent and handle our affairs as a united people, as an independent nation. That myth of a federation which never took place. I heard Southern Cameroonians, I used to hear Southern Cameroonians say there was a federation. There was never a federation between the people, the Southern Cameroons, and La Republic of Cameroon. It had never existed and will never exist. That thing which happened at the floor of the United Nations, which they prescribed that fraudulent federation, was the United Federal Republic of Cameroon and not the Federal Republic of Cameroon. Nigeria is a federation and not a federation of independent entities. The only people we can compare, we can make as a comparison with the people of the Southern Cameroons is the Canadian Federation and the Federation of Tanzania, of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, and the people of Somaliland and Somalia. These are the examples we can put in place. But talking about the Southern Cameroons people, we've never federated with any country in the world. La Republique declared a federation of La Republique of Cameroon and the abolished Federation of La Republique of Cameroon without the consent of the people of the Southern Cameroons. So we need not to listen to anybody telling us about federation. Thirdly, I heard people say the right prescription for the people of the Southern Cameroons is not being made today. It seems Comrade Agbo didn't share that opinion. No. I went to the United Nations or to the European Union with Chief Ayamba about 12 years ago, and this issue of marginalization came up, and I said no. The people of the Southern Cameroons are not a minority group that will be talking about marginalization within La Republic of Cameroon. We are talking about about a colonial system that we are seated in, that La Rue Cameroon had colonized the southern Cameroons. And these people, all of them know, like this Lord guy was speaking or saying in the House of Lords in Britain, they know that we are a colonized people. And as a colonized people, we must, anybody that wants to prescribe an antidote must be ready to get rid of that colonization. If not, you are wasting your time.
Before I give you the point,
Yeah.
Dr. Epa, I just want to quote something here to support the statement that Honorable Thomas made, that there was no unification, there was nothing, no coming together. Let me read what Philip Bellard is a writer and historian. This is what he wrote. There was no union whatsoever on 1st of October 1961. What happened was a mere border adjustment enabling the Cameroon Republic to adjust its southwestern border to 400 kilometers westward to a point where it now shares a common border with Nigeria. I'm just confirming what you're saying there. There was nothing like unification. It was just a chance for La Republic to extend its border. So whatever was signed there in the name of an argument was no argument whatsoever, because there were no protections built into it that will make sure that the people of the Southern Cameroons were not annexed or exploited. We were simply left on our own. So, Dr. Epa, I want you to weigh in here. You are muted.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I think Comrade Sama Thomas and Comrade Dennis has spoken so
Derek.
much about. Derek has spoken very eloquently about this issue. There is no such thing like a federation. We did not even have a unitary platform. Even they said we united. We did not, because if after the Manfe declaration, our forebears went to the United Nations, and the United Nations refused, and they still the British and the British went behind, connived with the French to make sure that we join either Nigeria or La Republic. Anything that happened after that was not genuine, as the gentleman, the member of the House of Lords actually spoke. What Ambazonians need is not to focus on this question of referendum. I did this question of a federation. We have our members, our people, who mentioned just the word federation and they were put in jail.
They were put in jail.
They were put in jail. La Republique has never even mentioned that word federation. They want to maintain their authority or their colonization on Ambazonia. And that is not going to happen. We just want to speak to Agobala, Dr. Musu, and the rest who have been going around with this notion of us still being a federation and a two-state federation. It will not happen. Neither La Republique nor Ambazonians wants it. La Republique does not want it, and we do not want it.
Dr. Epa, I don't even want us to waste time with those things, because those people saying those things, and my question to them is, okay, if that's what you want, what are you doing to get it? What are you doing to get the federation that you want? Are you waiting for us who are fighting for our complete the restoration of our independence to fight so that you come and take federation? What are you doing? Those who are for federation, what are you doing in pursuit of that federation? What are you doing?
They are doing practically nothing. And that is why you see I was coming to this point where we were talking about federation. And that is why I was saying that these people could not have just come and tell you that you are going for a federation. They had a laid down plan which they had to follow. And that's why I was asking about the question of why the referendum came. You see, all those were just pretexts because it didn't have any legality. You see, and the idea already was there that the French had already an idea of integrating us into La République du Cameroon. So all what you guys see was happening of federation and so on until they were changing it to united to even back to La
Yep.
République. It was just that process of integration.
Comrade Derek,
See,
let me read
yeah,
let me read another statement here which matches exactly what you are saying there. And this statement was made by Joseph van der Linden, a historian in 1985. Well, this is what he said. The federation was used by the Cameroon Republic merely as a ploy, a smokescreen to soft cushion its colonization of the British Southern Cameroons and to enable it to swallow the bitter pill of its annexation in the same way Eritrea was annexed by Ethiopia. And another writer, Jacques Benjamin, writes, what happened in the former British Southern Cameroons is a classic case of creeping annexation. I mean, how many more examples can we quote? People saw this thing. People have it is blatantly clear, and anyone who is willing to resolve the issue or between the Southern Cameroons and La Republic Cameroon has a lot of evidence available for them to realize that this thing was it was
it was
this
just
thing
a
was
fake.
planned and orchestrated at the highest level.
Come on, Mike. That is
Yes,
the reason
yes.
why, personally, when people ask me that why did Foncha not sign the Fungan Constitution, I laugh because all those things were fake. They were just it was fake federation. When something is fake, what was the essence of our people signing the Constitution to do what we did? You see, the French, I mean, La République never kept to his own promises. And until even the constitution they brought, La République, the paragraph, Article 46, they violated that the article.
Yeah, yeah,
You see,
I have that constitution somewhere. I
yeah,
have it
so
somewhere.
they violated it. Huh? You were saying something, Commissar.
I'm saying that Article 47 of that constitution was violated by the one that says
47.
no bills will ever be introduced in parliament that will impede the smooth running of the two states or the federation of the country. Such a bill is a treasonable act. Article 47 of that is the sham constitution.
Yeah, you see,
we are saying that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the reason why I am of the opinion that, you see, for us to come out of this mess, since Cameroon itself, or Cameroon herself has paved a nice way for us to come out of this their shit, you know, there's only two possible ways. Because these are my two possible ways I look at them. Although some people bring in the third one, which is war, I don't buy it. I just think that we should be there to defend ourselves because Cameroon has declared war on us. But if we want a peaceful, permanent solution, there are just two possibilities. We can now use our mission. I think, Comrade Chris has opened a mission. You know, the mission in Washington. We can now use lobbies, and I think he's lobbying. The work of these lobbies should be just two. Either they lobby heavily for us to get a country to recognize our sovereignty. Because all these countries know that Ambazonia exists. They recognize Ambazonia. But what they are not recognizing from Ambazonia is that sovereignty. Because they believe that we walked our way and joined La République du Cameroon. So they recognize our sovereignty through La République du Cameroon. But now what we should be doing with our lobbyists is to make them lobby this country to know that no, Ambazonia is now ready to take back our own sovereignty and govern herself. And then if they cannot do that, the only best and easiest way that will not even entangle their own national interest is for them to push for a referendum to be conducted in the Southern Cameroon, where the people now will use their constitutional right to decide where they want to go, just as they did with the plebiscite of 1961, because that is the base at where they are using to say that, oh, we join La République du Cameroon. Okay, if problem has arisen, why not use that same channel to ask the people, where do you want to go? So that the people now can decide by themselves, go to the polls and say, okay, here is our direction.
To that argument, Comrade Derek, if they are saying that the people decided, if it is clear now that there were flaws in the way that decision was derived from people, it is clear, we have seen clear signs that that thing was not legal. Shouldn't you now, don't the people of the Southern Cameroon deserve the right to retake that exam if it is clear that some of the questions that were presented during that exam had issues, that had flaws in them? The people have a right to retake that exam. And that is what we're saying, because let's not forget that even La République du Cameroon citizens have admitted that we were bamboozled as recent as
of course.
Kamto himself, Kamto, who is vying to be their leader, he came out and said, mockingly in this their usual arrogance, yeah, they know, he knows that Ahijo pulled a fast one on us, but that we should just suck up and take it. Imagine, that's what Kamto said. We should just suck up and take it. Yes, he acknowledges that, yes, we were taken advantage of, but we should just take it and be quiet. Of course, we are not going to be quiet. We are not going to be quiet. And I want people to understand this. I want people to really listen and understand this.
Receiving that exam, comrade, this is, we are talking about international politics. Receiving that exam will not just be as simple as we are saying. But why? Because of the Ambazonians are not, they are, you just talk of federalists. You just quoted Monzo. You understand? Going around telling you that, no, he wants federation. And then you and me sitting here, we are national. We say, no, all these things were flawed. We did not need it. We didn't need the plebiscite. We just needed our direct independence. We were played. And then the international community sits between two people now of the same territory. What do they do? The only way now to accept the right path is to tell those people that, okay, you now mobilize your population, let them give us the direction.
Of course, I am very much in favor of that. I'm very much in favor of that. I would like for our people to be given a chance to decide where they want to belong. And if they decide, even I will be willing to accept the outcome. But we should be given the chance in a free and fair environment, without intimidation, without coercion, for the people to make that decision. That's what we want. Yes.
Let me just add something. Comrade Derry had just said about he does not like the option of the war, but he mentioned that Paul Biya declared war on us and we're defending ourselves. Yes, we are going to defend ourselves until they get out.
Yes,
exactly.
Because they declared war. That was, I think they are realizing now that they made a very serious mistake. And we shall be going on with this war until when they come to the negotiation table, and then we decide for a referendum. Or they just merely say...
And Dr. Epa, don't forget that when they started this war, we were not fighting back. We were not fighting back. They were breaking into houses, shooting people in the legs, killing some, pulling girls out, raping some, asking some to swim in sewage. We have those videos. That is what they were doing, and they did that for quite some time. Then our young men realized that if they should stop, if they should not push back, then they will cease to exist. That is when they started fighting back with whatever they could find. We never prepared ourselves for war. They pushed us into war. So it's not like, and by the way, the war now that we are fighting, the war that we are in now, we can never again, Comrade Derek, we can never go back to a situation where we remain defenseless. Never.
Yeah.
Whatever arrangement we are having with La République du Cameroon, We will keep
They
our
don't
protection that we have
really.
acquired. We hold it and we sit at it at the negotiation table, but we will hold our stakes. We will hold our defenses. After that, we will still hold our defenses. Because
Very
once you
important.
let go of that, that leverage is gone. You will be back in the cage. I'm telling this to ambassadors, listen, never again allow yourselves to be defenseless. These boys that you call amber fighters, or what you call the amber boys, this is your future military. This is your future military. So you take care of them, because they will be the ones to stand up and defend that land in the future. Thank you. Dr. Pa, you were saying something.
Yeah, I think you almost concluded what I was going to say. The point is that um, Britain should come out very clean right now. They don't come out clean, it's going to be a problem. And then we talked about the I think you mentioned another point which was I've just forgotten about it. You know, where La Republic have taken advantage of it since they entered what is that organization again?
The
The name is
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Mhm.
with the Commonwealth issue. In fact, with a situation like this, Britain would have taken La Republic out from that Commonwealth, because La Republic came there only because we supposedly we joined them, and all the scholarship and everything that was offered by the Commonwealth, La Republic used it.
Up till now, Doctor.
Even up to now,
But,
there is
but the question, Dr. Epa, the question that I'm asking the Commonwealth is this. Before La Republic joined the Commonwealth, what were the conditions given to La Republic to Cameroon?
These
that
were the
issue.
What were the
conditions.
conditions given to it? Is La Republic de Cameroon respecting the conditions that they signed onto when they joined the Commonwealth? And if not, what sanctions have been meted on La Republic for failure to uphold those conditions?
Let me tell you one thing.
What has been done?
These are the
Nothing.
questions. You should know that is the British who gave us as a small gift to the Queen, not to the Queen, no, to the President of France,
To France. To France.
to France. Yeah, yeah.
When
Therefore,
the issue of the Commonwealth came in, Southern Cameroonians protested to the British that we will not want La Republic of Cameroon to be admitted to the Commonwealth, but the Southern Cameroons. Because it is Southern Cameroons that is part of the Commonwealth and not La Republic of Cameroon. Chief Emeka Anyaku, who was the then Secretary General of the Commonwealth, came to Bamenda, and we gave to him a communique that we are opposed to La Republic joining the Commonwealth. Reason being that the Southern Cameroon is annexed by La Republic Cameroon. Secondly, La Republic does not respect human rights. Thirdly, La Republic does not respect democratic
Democratic principles.
So, with all these things, La Republic shouldn't be admitted into the Commonwealth, not the Southern Cameroons. They told us that they were going to bring in La Republic Cameroon into the Commonwealth so as to force La Republic to respect human rights. As from 1995 or 1996 till today, has a human rights situation in La Republic Cameroon and in the Southern Cameroons in particular, is it not the worst form of human right? Is there any place in the world that the abuses that are going on in the Southern Cameroon
Thomas, the behavior of the UK gives me this impression. They say, "Show me your friends, and I will tell you the kind of person you are."
correct.
By assimilating, by hugging, giving this bear hug to La Republique du Cameroon, the UK is simply telling us that the UK itself does not value the protection or the respect of human rights. It does not value democracy. It does not value the fight against corruption. That is what they are telling us. That the UK is telling us is that they respect someone who would simply go in there and brutalize ordinary civilians, burn villages, rape women, and do all these massacres with not as much of any repercussion. That is what the UK is saying us, that these are now their values. La Republique is now their friend, and they share in all those things that they are doing. That is what the UK is telling us.
Saying, let me add something that Comrade was saying about our diplomatic engagement and the lobbyists. The case between La Republique Cameroon and Nigeria over the Bakassi Peninsula declared the sovereignty of the Southern Cameroon. And that ruling asked La Republique and Nigeria to get their administrators and soldiers completely out of the Southern Cameroon. Because one of the conspiracies that the international community caused was that when they hand over a place of the Southern Cameroons to be annexed, they now block these people not to have access to any international jurisdiction to hear their problem if they are now being manhandled by their colonizers. But La Republique, by some stroke of ill luck, had to take Nigeria to the International Court of Justice, and the International Court of Justice passed that judgment in referring to Anglo-German Treaty of 1913, giving that verdict to the Southern Cameroons. That is the more reason the American ambassador wrote to the International Court of Justice, before you pass judgment in that matter, take into consideration the Southern Cameroons interpleader, which is lying before you there, which is exactly what they did. What the Southern Cameroons would need, if this war was not corrupt, they could have sent an ombudsman to get La Republique out of the Southern Cameroons, which is a job of a nation like China, a nation like Russia, or the United States of America. But because all these guys are criminals, they do not want to do that job by evicting La Republique out of the Southern Cameroons, like they did in Kuwait. They removed Iraq from Kuwait. Kuwait was a trustship territory. Why did they remove Iraq? Because Iraq invaded Kuwait, claiming it was part of Kuwait or Iraq before 1945. La Republique Cameroon is in occupation of Southern Cameroon, claiming the Southern Cameroon is part of La Republique Cameroon, which is annexation, which is condemned by international law. And it had been proven that La Republique is in occupation of Southern Cameroon. What is the international community doing? Why can't they do exactly what they did to Kuwait, to the people of the Southern Cameroon? So what we need today is an ombudsman, or we just continue with the war, but the international community has shown and slammed the doors of justice in front of the people of Southern Cameroon.
I would
just
like
to add to what let me add something to what Comrade Sama said.
Okay.
I just want to add something to what he said. It's very interesting what he said.
There's a lot to discuss on this topic, but yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just one second. Just 1 second.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add there, just to show the continuous corruption in the international community when it comes to Bakassi. You know, the judge that was there was is a Moroccan. How do you put it? French-born Moroccan, something like that. So that guy had the influence of France to pass the stupid judgment he did. And not only that, what happened to the Greenpeace treaty? How could the international community, in the presence of Kofi Annan, in the presence of America, Britain, go in their judgment? I don't know if you guys have read that judgment. They went and in the judgment, it is clearly stated that sovereignty of Bakassi has been handed to La République du Cameroun. How could they do that? A country, a territory that does not belong to neither Nigeria or Cameroon. And then you come and say in your judgment that you are handing the sovereignty of that territory to La République du Cameroun.
They overrule a judgment with a solution. They overrule a judgment with a
yeah, that is what I'm exactly. So you see the mafia, and then when they did that, what happened? The French now visited America, and then they went on CNN. They were publishing it everywhere in the world that Bakassi has been given back to La République to Cameroon. They closed the Ambazonia case, just as our interpleader never came up. And even the supporting interpleader that Equatorial Guinea gave to show that they had boundaries with the Southern Cameroon and not La République. It was closed, they never mentioned it. So that is the hypocrisy of the world. And La République du Cameroon picked it up, and then they came and were advertising, oh, Kamto has won the Bakassi case. What did Kamto do? He did nothing in Bakassi. Our case was clear. Our documents are there showing that that territory belongs to us. A French La République man comes, he presents it, and then you say he has won the war. What did he do? Nothing. The Southern Cameroon case was won by...
Comrade Derek, I have come to the realization that this war is not ruled by morality or what is right. It is interest. It is always interest. Look at the world today. Look at everything that's happening and tell me how just it is. It is always the interest of those involved that matters. It is not about doing what is right. It is never about doing what is right. It's not about doing what is just. Most of the times, it is about interest. The only time that justice comes to play is when the interest coincides with justice. Then that prevails. But when interest goes against, when justice goes against interest always wins. Now let's go to our last topic. I know there's a lot that we can still talk on that, but let's move on for today. We'll have time to come back to this, of course. Let's go to our next topic, which is our mission. Like Comrade Derek mentioned earlier, the diplomatic mission that was inaugurated in Washington, D.C. some 2 weeks ago. I'm here, fellow Ambazonians, announcing that our mission is now open and ready for business. And the Ambazonian diplomatic mission is delighted to open its doors to all Ambazonian groups, offering our facilities for a range of activities such as business meetings, conferences, and other events that align with our shared goals and values. This initiative aims to foster a stronger sense of community and cooperation among our various groups and stakeholders. Key details regarding the use of the Ambazonian diplomatic mission facilities are as follows. Number one, available spaces. Our facilities have a permanent location in Washington, D.C., with other satellite facilities across the USA, Europe, Africa, and Canada. They are equipped to provide suitable spaces for meetings and conferences with a capacity of up to 40 persons. Number two, booking. To reserve a space for your event, please contact Sabasin Bariku at this number, 202-909-6625 for those within the continental USA. If you're out of the USA, you have to use the area code for the international calls. Sebastian will assist you in scheduling and coordinating the use of the facilities. Number three, terms of use. We kindly request that all groups adhere to the spirit of respect and collaboration while utilizing the diplomatic mission facilities. This is a high-level facility, and it is always good that, for example, when you use the space, make sure that if you generate any trash or anything, that you clean up after yourselves, and that you don't become too unnecessarily loud, because there are other customers that use the facility. You want to conduct yourselves in the most professional behavior so that you don't soil our reputation. Number four, collaborative vision. By opening our doors to all Ambazonian groups and stakeholders, we aim to create an environment that encourages dialogue, mutual understanding, and the exchange of ideas. Together, we can strengthen our collective efforts and advance our cause. We look forward to seeing these facilities become vibrant hubs of activity where Ambazonian groups come together to strategize, plan, and build a better future for our people. Let us seize this opportunity to strengthen our bonds and amplify our impact on the international stage. In unity, we stand resilient, and determined. So this is from the interim government, most especially from the communications department of this interim government. And I don't know what happened here, but I hope I'm still visible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you still see me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think my screen was minimized momentarily. So this is where we are. We are opening up the mission to Ambazonians to make use of it. As we said, I know there has been conspiracies out there that what was presented was some kind of a hotel, and some have come up with all kinds of. For those who want to see the Thomases, all of the Thomases out there, you are welcome to come and see the facility and make use of it. Not just to see it, but to make use of it. If you have a conference, a professional conference, you need a space to sit and hold your conference, contact Sabasin Baraku at the number that was mentioned here, and we will make some flyers with more information that you can save and distribute so that you keep it for when you need it. And the very good thing about this facility, fellow Ambassadors, is this. This facility, though is based in Washington D.C., there are other structures all over the United States of America. So that if you are holding a meeting in Texas, if you are holding a meeting in California, we will still be able to arrange for you to use the facility in California. That is, it's a wonderful arrangement, I tell you. You can use it anywhere. You just have to contact us and we'll make the arrangement for you to use it, and then we'll simply maybe give a small appreciation so that we're able to continue paying for the facility. So that is it. I don't know. Comrade Derek, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I think it's a wonderful initiative, you know, and I am of the opinion that every group, every interim government who is doing something that is beneficial for the people of Ambazonia should be encouraged. I think you guys did a marvelous job, and it is worth encouraging. And that is why you see here in Norway, when this project came up, the Ambazonian people here in Norway gathered, and I think I was invited in that meeting, and I was asked to chair that meeting. I went there, and it was wonderful. And we decided there to use this opportunity as a starting point of collaboration, bringing all Ambazonia, whatever, no matter what group you are, bringing them together so that Norway will then contribute a certain amount to be helping your mission. So this is it's a very wonderful initiative. So, so you should be expecting a package from Ambazonians in Norway. So it's not that from interim government, Sako, Cristiano, no. This is Ambazonians in Norway. We have started that initiative, bringing ourselves together. Because once there is a mission, the mission is for Ambazonia and not for groups. And so we have decided, we will resolve now to at least to be sending something quarterly to your mission. And that is what will happen to any group that we see is doing something good for the liberation. And we hope that this mission will be used appropriately to lobby for the interests of the people of Ambazonia. So we encourage it, and we encourage other countries as well. Not only Norway, we encourage other countries in the Scandinavia, in Finland, in Denmark, and other parts in Europe and in America to at least to do like us in Norway, start something for collaboration. Start bringing yourself together, because we are moving towards the end of this liberation struggle. Ambazonia is real, and Ambazonia it has come to not to disappear as it did in the 60s. Now we are coming to exist, and the world knows about us now. So let's give the last push so that we can now take this liberation struggle to its logical conclusion. So I call on all Ambazonians to support this initiative.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Comrade Derek. I want to salute you for your patriotism. That is what patriotism is all about, putting aside personal differences or opinions and just following what you know is right. And to that point, I'm calling others, those who have ideas, like you said, that the facility should be used for the right reason. We are calling on not just those with financial or material support, those with ideas. Bring forth your ideas and help us to use this structure for the freedom of our homeland. That is all we are asking. Bring forth your ideas. Your ideas, maybe your ideas are even more important than anything else. We want to see those great ideas. Bring them. Let us sit together. You know, the one thing I have noticed is that most of the times you see even in the various fora and people argue and argue, but each time that you meet a comrade face to face, they are the way they talk to you, their behavior is a lot different from when you are in the WhatsApp forum. They can be very vulgar in a WhatsApp. When you meet them physically, the way their interaction will be a lot different. So by having this facility, if we can enable us to come together, I am sure that the animosity that we sometimes express against each other will be much more subdued, and we will focus on what is right to free our nation. So let's follow the example of Norway. I think they're doing the right thing, and we should copy their example and do the best for our homeland. Dr. Epa, and then I'll follow with Honorable Sama Thomas. We'll round it up because we're running out of time. Dr. Epa. I think you're probably muted.
No, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Comrade Derek, we want to thank you so much for a job well done in Norway. In fact, I do not know how to express myself regarding the initiative all of you in Norway have taken. If other countries can imitate that, God is actually going to bless us. Now, Comrade Derek, the facility is not only in the United States. We have the facilities in Europe, in Africa, some countries in Africa. If you want to hold any meetings in Norway, just contact Sebastian, and he is going to provide a facility for you in Norway, because the facilities are there. That is the contract we have. Okay. So this mission, Ambazonian mission, is for all of us. It's not for the interim government alone. It is for all the Ambazonians. And please, I hope that you also try to educate most of our colleagues in Europe. Take the lead. We plead with you. We want a lot of people to come in. If possible, join us in our platforms, in our LGAs, counties, and the international, the Restoration Council. Join us in the executive of this interim government. We are working for one goal: total independence for the people of Ambazonia. So, Comrade Mike, you have mentioned a lot of things that we are going to do. How this facility can save us, or can service us. Very soon, right now, we have begun applying for identity cards. Please make sure that you apply for your own identity card, Ambazonian identity cards, which you'll be proud of. I think it has been announced time with that number. That is one of the benefits of this mission.
And that is the website right there. That's the website on your screen.
Okay, that's the website right.
Yeah.
Ambazonia.
AmbazoniaID.com. AmbazoniaID.com. You go there and register.
Just go there and register. $50. If your money, the country where you are is not $50, try to change it. Or if you're having problems, call us. You can send the money to us, and somebody in the United States can pay that for you. Please.
Yeah.
Those who are in refugee camps and who need help, do not forget. Comrade Chris has been emphasizing this, and Comrade Mike and others have been on this platform emphasizing this, the benefits. Do not hesitate to call, send a fax. We are going to help you.
Yep.
Do not, even if you were not supporting the struggle, even if your people are, are in Yaoundé who are enablers, even though you do not even want to hear our voices, but when you have a problem, call us. Call the office. The number has been given. Thank you very much.
Right. Oh, thank you, Dr. Pat. Thank you, Comrade Derek. Sama Thomas, I'll give you the last word, and that will be the end of the show. Again, I want to thank you all for coming. I think the audience, I'm sure they enjoyed the debate and the discussions that we have been able to put forth here. I think the comments show it. So, Sama Thomas.
All has been said. So the only thing I can add is that I am on my knees. I don't know how. I don't know if Southern will want me to crawl on my stomach. I'm pleading with all of us to stop this bashing of each other on our social media spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help. We should come together and work as a united people and push this struggle to its ultimate end. It is said, united we stand. Unity is strength. But unfortunately, we are not using our strength, which is unity. We are instead destroying our strength by dividing ourselves, insulting each other. What we ought to be doing to us, we are instead doing it on ourselves, doing our business. It is useless to go on a social media space insulting Derek from morning till evening, calling him how he is La Republic, or how someone is calling me I'm La Republic agent. It doesn't we should come together. We set out for Boya. We haven't reached Boya yet. It is not healthy for us to be fighting while on our way to Boya. Please let us all come together.
Thank you, Sama Thomas. That is very, very important, and I would like to follow this message of unity by citing two examples, which we have discussed during this show today. We use the example of the Bui Unity Warriors. Let us see how coming together, what coming together can do, and what results you can get. When you sit on the social media and you bashing each other left and right the whole day, at the end of the day, ask yourself, what has all this interaction that you've made throughout this day contributed towards the liberation of the Southern Cameroons? What value have you added to the liberation of the Southern Cameroons by arguing with your fellow comrade in a social media forum? What has that given? Have you helped a fighter on the ground? Have you helped a wounded soldier? Have you helped those in jail? Have you helped a refugee? Of what benefit has that argument been? Because you just want to win an argument in a social media forum. It does not help. We have to get off of this self-destructive tendency. Again, following the example of the Bui Unity Warriors, who have been consistent, dedicated, focused, patriotic, and the results show for themselves. And we are encouraging other fighters in other regions of Ambazonia to follow their example. Do not follow money now, because money will cause you to get to your grave. Others who followed money are not here today. Be a patriot, fight for your own liberation. I'll also ask us to follow the example of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. If they had stood separately apart and not come together to form their own security alliance, they will all be down now. They would have been defeated. But when they came together, they were able to fend off those who were huffing and puffing and getting ready to come and crush them. But once they came together, those people fizzled out. They realized they've become too powerful for us to crush them. So we better use another method. That is what we need to learn, fellow ambassadors. Let's learn from these two examples. Let us learn from these two examples. These two examples I've quoted here. Come together and do what is right to liberate ourselves from this colonial domination of La République du Cameroon and France. I will not want to take too much of your time again. The discussions that we have had here today. If you miss anything, the show is always available on the ABS TV website. Go there and watch it again, and share it to those who were not able to watch it today. Share it to them. I think there's very useful content that was put out today. Make use of it. Be informed. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So, fellow Ambassadors, I thank you for watching today. Take good care of yourselves and each other. The war zone is out.
Thank you.